Sent a link about sneakers. The entire market just absolutely crashing. So that is how we are going to start today's stream off. The sneaker market just collapsed, and nobody knows why. A sneaker shop owner says the entire market died overnight, and the numbers are insane. So, question for you right off the rip: how many people do you know that collect sneakers? I would say there's one that I for sure know, one that I interviewed lately. So I would say about two people of, let's hypothetically say, I know, 500 to 1,000 people in general, but two of them are sneaker collectors, but the market for those died overnight. Okay, let's get into it. Shoes that were $500 to $600 now won't move at $300. Jordan 1s sitting for $90. Dunks and GRs gathering dust. Even heat priced under retail isn't selling. Yeezys, once the safest resale shoe on earth, are tanking everywhere. He straight up asks, does anyone want to explain why shoes are literally just dying right now? And the weirdest part, nobody's selling or buying. The whole ecosystem is frozen. Something broke, but nobody can agree on what. What really killed the sneaker market? The economy, the hype dying, or is the whole resale game finally collapsing? So we'll watch this video and see what it has to say. But at the same time this is happening, we're seeing a huge interest within the blind box. I don't know, I guess we'll call it meta. So we'll go over a couple of those sites here in a second. But what in the world is this all about? 10.7 million views.
Does anyone want to explain why shoes are literally just dying right now? I own a sneaker store and we've been struggling for the last couple months. And y'all can say, oh, it's because you overprice things. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, it's a Yeezy. You're overpricing it. It's $110. Retails like 2 something. Market's like 190. I'm pricing it at 110. It's brand new. An off-white lot dunk, which you haven't been able to get for 4 years now. Used to be going for $500 to $600. Market's like 400. We have them priced at 320. A shoe that's sold out, hard to get. A SB Navy 4. It's used, but 210. That's like retail. And then you have stuff that are like Jordan 1s, like these shattered backboards that just came out. We were charging like $170 for them or something like that, which retails higher. And then we got like Lucky Greens, the Royal Toes. All these things are going for well under retail, and we have them priced under retail. For example, like a yellow ochre, which is not even a bad shoe, is going for like $90 in the store here, which is crazy. Retails like what, 170? It's definitely an interesting time in the sneaker world right now, and you'd think that people would be coming to sell us their shoes too because the market's down. They just want to get rid of some stuff, but that's not even the case. We haven't had a lot of people coming to sell to us. I mean, last week we did buy a lot of shoes, but this week we're a little slow. So if you guys are looking to sell us your shoes or come and buy some shoes because you're looking to buy the dip, then please stop by 1049 East Imperial Highway, Placentia, California. It's hidden.
I'm curious with the amount of views this got, and I'm assuming this is, obviously you can see the TikTok tag, so I'm curious what sort of attention that got. But I got sent this by like multiple different people, and I don't know, like how do you respond to this or try to like rationalize it? Excuse me, without like trying to do a whole bunch of research exactly. Where I mean, I think the comment about like the economy is really just the biggest thing. And in the same vein, when we talk about trading card games so often, think of all the products that are coming out from every single different brand right now. If you have to decide in a day which show, movie, entertainment that you're going to consume, and thank you so much for choosing the stream if you're tuning in right now, but it's the exact same thing on the money side of things. It's like, where are you going to put any disposable income if you have any? And I mean, theoretically, do we need multiple pairs of shoes? And the fact of the collecting, again, it's all comparatively in sorts. And again, I'm not like a massive shoe collector by any means, but it is interesting that this is getting brought up and just circulated the way that it is right now. But on to a little bit of a happier news. We saw the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade just occur. And can you imagine just setting up these floats and you just leave them there and it's just a whole bunch of sandbags weighing everything down? What could possibly go wrong? We'll go into one in a second, but the people rocking and rolling with the Pokemon float had some shirts. I'd be curious to know what these are selling for. I remember seeing where people like go and they work like a concert event or some kind of event where they're a volunteer, and if it's like a big enough brand, people will be like, yo, I'll buy your staff shirt, kind of like the staff playmats in Pokemon type of deal. So curious for the for the float operators, how much are those shirts going for? Monkey D. Luffy as well. All of this is just brands. Just all of them. as we continue on the Stranger Things, which the new season is absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend. If you haven't seen the series, the one thing that I will say, though, is that like the first episode's a little bit slower, but then it gets real exciting. And then Super Mario, we can go down the list, all of your favorite brands. Yeah. Spider-Man. It feels like there was like nothing really new. I didn't see much on the timeline that was sort of new brands that are up and coming by any means. But this is when things went super south. A couple years back, Barney went crazy. And the whole thing deflated. Imagine dealing with that. Look at the air coming out of that, the deflation. Oh man, kids are probably just screaming. But again, that was a couple years back. So let's jump to this blind box conversation. So I noticed this the other day from Pokemon Alert and News. The Chinese exclusive Dream Drawing 151 figurine blind boxes are up on SnoreSnap for like $30. And again, you guys are familiar with like what a blind box is, and it all comes down to what those brands offer, and clearly Pokemon is very high in demand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a couple of different brands that are offering blind boxes. We will look at the website extraordinarily briefly, give kind of a say of, you know what, that's kind of cool, because some of it is newer brands, and then compare and contrast. But for Pokemon, hey, listen, of course, we got to still check out the site for that. I don't know if I absolutely love the site. I think it's really cool when they have like the characters here. Yo, Scyther, hell yeah. A lot of different news stories and whatnot. I don't know. Like I think the middle of this page is cool, but for like how big Pokemon is, I don't know if I like just, you know, am in love with the site by any means. And then from Resale News, this is the other thing that I saw the other day that made me really go down this like blind box perspective or research, I guess. Bratz is releasing their Labubu competitor called Bratzies tomorrow, and they're charging like $25 for them. So the Labubu variation of Bratz, what do we think? Obviously a specific target market, but then when you go and check out the website, they're having their Black Friday sale. I'm very, very scared to click on that audio, so we are just flat out not going to do it, but this kind of makes me feel like I'm watching like the YTV or like one of those kids channels where there's commercials for all like the children's toys. So here's another one. Have you guys heard of FWOG? The FWOGS. They did blind boxes as well, a couple of different frogs. And so if we look at their website, what do we think of this one? You got frogs just dancing on all the different lettering on there. I think the art aspect of it is kind of neat. The people love the frog art. I think it looks pretty cool. Curious like what the larger demand or interest is. And then you also see a Pokemon variant with Venusaur and the FLOGS. And then there was another one called Critters Quest that did this. And so if you were going to look on the Critters website and see kind of these characters, does that end up doing anything for you? Or kind of, not bad. It's not great. These are all questions that you kind of have to answer. Well, not necessarily have to, but just keep in the back of your mind. And then Moonbirds, which is another newer IP, they did a collectibles box where you could either buy an individual one or an entire kind of booster box of 12 of them. And this is what the website looks like. A new chapter for Moonbirds. Orange Cap Games is bringing fresh innovation to the Moonbirds ecosystem. Very burbish. That's one thing that they do. They just add, they take anything and just add burb in front of it. But what do you think? Kind of sleek, easy, not too fancy, but not too shabby. And so I thought, okay, we got a couple of these things. Now let's go and look at what Pop Mart and other retailers are offering, where the monsters, this thing looks like Labubu, except it's not, where they're in different cans. We have the Teletubbies. Okay. We have Star Wars over on the right side, but I think that it was cut off for you. I don't know. Like, I guess it's like an age demographic thing where I'm like, I don't know if I really care about these blind box aspects, but depending on who it is, we are seeing some mega interest like that Moonbirds one. I think they sold like well over $1 million worth of those boxes. FLOGS, they, again, massively sold out. Critters Quest, I'm not exactly sure. Bratz, we're going to have to keep an eye on. And then the Smoko. There is another set of characters and brands. And it feels like, to an extent, maybe this is an incorrect take, but you know, in music, how everybody always makes the comment that, yeah, well, you know, all these songs are just redone ones from the past or taking reference off this and that, and it's just changed slightly, or it's exactly the same tune. I feel like how many more different brands can we come up with that people are going to massively fall in love with? Because it does feel like the staple brands are just there, and it's going to be just that case moving forward. From Golden Auctions, we keep seeing some crazy things coming through on that front. The rarest and least known Michael Jordan rookie card, the 1984-85 star number 288 Michael Jordan rookie card. There is 6 in the population. Is a true masterpiece of the MJ rookie. Okay, cool. So I thought, let's look at the site at $34,000, right? But right now it's at $41,480 with the buyer's premium. These auctions are just kind of funny. Like, I feel like you only do the auctions just to have like that extra authentication or story or value, or people buy it because they're like, hey, this was an auction before, and they can, you know, potentially try to resell it for more down the line, because the extra, you know, $6,000-$7,000 on the buyer's premium is ridiculous. But what does it look like when you go on eBay? And I found one that was a 7. So this one's a 9. But I found one that was a 7 for 56,000 Canadian, which translated over is 40,130. And excuse me, that's in the way. But again, $40,000, which is like they're already $1,000 more, but for an additional higher graded card on that front. So do you want to go on eBay for one that is one ranking less? Well, you still have another 8 days. Just buy that off eBay. Get it right now. Kind of ridiculous. So the Pokemon card, Extravaganza. It's Black Friday today. I don't know if we've seen any crazy videos. There was one from a Costco in Canada a couple days ago that got a ton of attention. And there's a clip in here that kind of highlights that aspect, but this is just a take about the hobby in general.
Kids have been priced out in many cases. The way that card games are consumed now, I watched a video earlier today about like there was another fight in a Costco over Pokemon cards or something. Kids can't afford to buy boxes. Kids do not get the opportunity to enjoy card games in the same way that we got to enjoy card games when we were kids.
Nope.
Where things weren't just being like completely like just shoveled off shelves to be resold on eBay. I could go into a Walmart and find a pack of Pokemon cards.
Good luck, kid.
I hate that. I don't like that that's the reality that we're in. I think that if you are a younger person and you're in card games right now, I mean, it could mean many things, but one of my base assumptions is that you are probably fortunate that you have, I guess, like some disposable income. I don't see a world where like an 11-year-old can get into like trading cards without some serious help.
I mean, it's difficult. I mean, there's a lot of kids who are into like the Pokemon TCG, but that doesn't mean it's easy to actually get the cards. I've seen the lengths at which Pokemon like parents have to fight to get the kids the cards that they want, which is, you know, you kind of got to go to World War III just to get them.
Okay, so I have to admit, I feel like this is something that is maybe an American thing, because I really haven't seen unreal situations except for that Costco, right, where they had like some deal or the restock, whatever it is, but I haven't seen that a whole lot here. And so I guess listening to that conversation, they're saying, yeah, kids, you know, aren't able to experience it the same way that we did, and they're not able to buy boxes and whatnot, but like aren't boxes like several hundreds of dollars? And going back to when my parents used to buy the Yu-Gi-Oh and the Pokemon cards, you go by a convenience store, you got a pack, you open it. I don't even think we played the cards at all. We just looked at them and thought, hey, these are cool. And that was kind of the end of the story, right? So, I mean, they're bringing up the kid aspect of things, but I'm also kind of like, I don't know how many of them are going to go out and buy boxes to begin with. I mean, maybe those that are in high school and they're like, hey, you know what? These are like my investments or anything under that situation. Well, maybe that is the case. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed here on this Friday. Guys, we've been uploading a ton of different shorts from these streams. So if you're wanting to see something a little bit different, especially if you're on YouTube, if you go over to the shorts tab, you will be able to see that. We are uploading things on TikTok as well. And if you want to hear more conversation around the digital asset side of things and how there's a lot of digital collectibles that are coming over and seeping into the physical space, we do the RWA Segments podcast, which the link is in the description below if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you're over on X, the link is in my bio. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.